What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz. It just like that. We back with another one. Alright, y'all. So we got a video here today. This is 15 things you wouldn't believe people actually eat. This looks good, whatever this is. I hope it ain't nothing crazy, because it look like something I want to eat. It's a long video, but we're about to check it out together. Link to the original will be down in the description box below. Let's go.
Of life, everyone's got to eat. But while most of us are more than happy to have a sandwich and a bag of hot Cheetos, some people are quite literally insane and would rather travel the world to eat. Well, you'll see. From a crunchy, gooey fish eye to a 4-pound cholesterol-packed cow tongue, here are the 15 things you wouldn't believe people actually eat.
I'm not eating none of that.
Number 15, tuna eye. As our planet continues to struggle its way through an increasingly difficult time in its existence, chefs are working to reduce their environmental impact any way that they can. Some focus exclusively on sustainable produce, some avoid single-use plastic, and some just give up that lukewarm McDonald's lunch in favor of a fresh lettuce leaf. But all of that pales in comparison to what Japanese chefs do. While most chefs work to use as much of their ingredients as possible to avoid waste, Japanese chefs...
You know what I think? I figured it out. I know why people be eating weird stuff now, or different parts of the animal that they wouldn't necessarily ate before, is because once you start dabbling with certain textures, you might as well eat it all. Like oysters. Oysters is a weird texture. If you eat an oyster, you might as well eat any and every other part of that fish, or any kind of fish. Not that fish when I say oyster, but fish, period. Because oysters is just weird. There's a lot of weird textures out there. Once you try them, you might as well eat everything. Like if you eat a gamey deer or something, you might as well eat every other part of a deer. Like, I don't know.
Really do use every part of the fish. In sushi bars, it's common to enjoy the delicate taste of a tuna belly. But many chefs also particularly enjoy a more gross part of the fish, the eye. Believe it or not, there are many restaurants and bars in Japan that sell the fleshy eyes as appetizers or even just bar snacks. After some good cooking, the hard outer edge of the eye can be bitten into, allowing the gelatinous contents of the inside to be sucked out.
The gelatinous contents of the inside to be sucked out. Ew, I don't like that stuff. If it ain't chicken texture or beef texture, I like the rough stuff. Then I don't want it. I don't like nothing slimy.
Those that have been lucky enough to taste the eyes describe them as somewhat bland.
Ew, she sucked the stuff out of the eye. Ew.
Similar to a more traditional seafood like squid, which explains why so many chefs work to brighten the flavor with ingredients like soy sauce and ginger. I think I'll stick to regular bar snacks. Thank you. Before we go on, like this...
They got me wanting to go to a ramen spot. I want to eat some ramen now. What time is it? 8:30?
Video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Go to Americano, hit the subscribe button, and come back here and do the same thing. Dang, that's big. Did that thing eat a rat?
Number 14, cow tongue.
Ew.
For many Americans, the idea of eating tongue is probably pretty disgusting. But believe it or not, the cow tongue was a popular ingredient in the United States until the 1950s or so, and continues to be popular around the world.
I'm not eating that.
Your tongue really takes on a different meaning with this meal.
You can't get me to eat no tongue. I would never try that. Look at that.
While it may not look particularly appealing, the cow tongue is an incredibly flexible piece of meat and has been said to taste like ordinary steak, if a little milder. This unusual ingredient is used in soups, salads, and even sandwiches around the world, particularly in popular regional dishes, the most famous one coming from Mexico. South of the border, curious eaters enjoy a meal known as tacos de la guena, tongue tacos for those not knowledgeable in Spanish,
I know.
recipe that is a closely guarded secret. I'm kidding. It's a tongue on a taco. It's also a popular ingredient in Korean and Japanese barbecue restaurants.
Oh, I know all this. I know all this. Not me.
And is even consumed to celebrate Jewish holidays. That's right, it's kosher. For those of you on a diet, it should be said that a standard 3 to 4 pound tongue contains more protein than a T-bone steak, which would definitely help you build that muscle. Unfortunately, it's also high in cholesterol, so you probably wouldn't survive too long on a tongue diet. Number 13, deep fried Mars bars.
Mars bars, that sounds great.
As far as world cuisine goes,
don't look so great though.
It seems like Scottish food never quite caught on.
I don't like the way this look. I'm not doing it.
With the wider world, which is something of a shock considering how high fat and sugar it is. But when you look deeper, it makes sense. After all, one of the most popular takeout meals in Scotland is also one of the most, I want to say, interesting? In August 1995, a newspaper published an article about Scotland's craziest takeaway and kickstarted an unusual regional legacy. Thankfully, there wasn't anything too weird about it. It's not like they were serving human meat or using rats as chefs, but they were, in fact, cooking and selling what has now become known as a Scottish delicacy, the deep-fried Mars bar. It's pretty much exactly what it says on the menu, an ordinary chocolate bar deep-fried until crisp. And while most people treat it as an occasional treat or curious delicacy, some actually eat these things often, as part of what is known as the Mars bar supper. The Mars bar supper consists of a deep-fried Mars bar and chips. Or, for our non-British friends, fries. It'll come as no surprise to say that health experts have warned continuously against this meal, insisting that it's a significant driver of health conditions including obesity and diabetes. But damn it.
Heck, after what I ate today, I gotta not do that ever again, because I felt, no, I don't need to do that again. Not wait. What did I eat for? Nah, I gotta do better.
If it's not delicious.
I tried Mars bar, I ain't even gonna lie. I tried once. I never do it again.
Probably. Number 12, head cheese. Don't be fooled by the misleading name. This is not a piece of cheese. And believe me, when you find out what it is, you may be glad you're not getting it on your sandwiches. Head cheese is actually a terrine, but not any old terrine, obviously. This one is significantly more vomit-inducing.
Pop those in the fridge until they set up, and then voila!
Back in the Middle Ages, peasants had to find a way to eat that wouldn't break their already non-existent budget. While the elites and upper classes enjoyed meals with actual meat, peasants were forced to make do with scraps like the discarded heads of cows, pigs, or sheep. They discovered that if you simmered the head in water, you could produce a delicious stock. But when you let the skull cool, you get some delicious, natural bone gelatin that could create something even better. It was then that head cheese came into existence, a terrine made from the gummy insides of an animal head. Well,
I don't like gummy. I couldn't eat this.
At least it's sustainable. While the meat was once the domain of peasants and others that didn't have the benefit of costly ingredients, head cheese can now be found in many high-end, expensive restaurants all over the world.
They crazy.
If you can stomach it, of course. Number 11, frog sashimi.
I'm not eating no frog.
Every animal on the planet is eaten in some part of the world. No matter how unusual
look at it. It's alive.
Take, for example, the humble frog. Unless you've ever been to an expensive French restaurant, the likelihood of you actually eating a frog...
I'm sorry, my gagging is making you guys that are eating while watching me want to throw up. I'm sorry.
...is low. But now, apparently, even Japan is getting in on the experience. So we're all probably going to be eating it soon enough.
I ain't that mess. Look at that. Poor frog. He's like, yo, they cut me in half, bro.
Restaurants in Japan are now producing sushi with unusual and original ingredients, including the bullfrog. After beheading and skinning the animal, the chefs use the remaining skin to serve as a presumably tasty new kind of sashimi. Obviously, this
I'm not eating that skin.
new menu item has not gone down well with animal rights activists, animal lovers, or anybody that does not like to.
That junk look raw. They just soy sauce everything and just
Eat animals that live in grimy looking ponds, and when you see them,
I'm not
that
eating
the
that.
animal's legs continue to twitch and move even after death, it's pretty easy to understand how it might not be quite so appealing. Japanese diners tend to be pretty open-minded when it comes to their sushi, but even they are probably a little
look at the
hesitant
dog.
about
The dog. Did I say dog? Look at the frog. Did that thing just blink? It's like, yo, I can't believe this chick is over here eating me.
Japanese diners tend to be pretty
They
open-minded
blinked.
when it comes to their sushi, but even they are probably a little
Oh,
hesitant
heck
about
nah.
diving into basically a live frog. Then
Look at
again,
that.
it's sushi. Would you notice? Number 10,
That don't look like sushi. See, I don't even do sushi, y'all. Sushi is weird, man. That junk got a weird texture to it too. It just the rice don't even taste like rice. It don't even feel like rice in my mouth.
Drunken Shrimp. If you saw those words on a menu, you'd likely assume that we're talking about a delicious dish that features shrimp cooked in wine, or, if you're especially fearless, Jägermeister. And, in a way, you'd be right. But we'd guess that to eat a meal like this, you'd probably have to be pretty hammered yourself. All across Asia, restaurants serve what they claim to be authentic drunken shrimp. And while some are wildly different recipes, they have some basic similarities. The one requirement for a dish to be classified as drunken shrimp, the little critters have to be served alive and moving. Yeah, probably best to crack out a bottle or 6 of wine before you dare try them. While the Japanese prefer to serve the fish without any cooking oil, Chinese chefs like to get them absolutely wasted first, soaking them in spirits and marinating until they've absorbed the flavor of their marinade. Then they're served in a quirky glass goblet with a lid that will, hopefully, prevent them from flinging up into your face. So that's fun. If you were to serve live produce in the Western world, it's highly likely your restaurant
Could you imagine eating your shrimp while it was still alive? And it's wiggling in your mouth? Nah, not me. I couldn't do it. Nope. In my Cat Williams voice, not this nigga. Nah, I would never do such a thing. Nope, not me. Nope.
would be immediately closed and never allowed to open again. But Asia is a whole other culture, and by all accounts, these hammered little friends
Shit, I'm just gonna, when I go to China, Japan, anywhere, I'm like, let me get that chicken fried rice. That's all I want. Chicken fried rice.
are actually surprisingly tasty. Alcohol can do some incredible things. Number 9.
I don't care. I'm not eating nothing that's alive, alcohol or not. You can kiss my ass. Is this a seahorse?
Sea urchin.
Oh, it's the urchin.
For most of us, poor folk, the eating habits of the rich have always been a little bit, unusual. While some like to just hunt random animals in their backyard,
See, I could eat chicken for the rest of my life. There's so many different ways you can prep it, make it taste good, different textures. Look, I'm black.
and eat them, others prefer the
This chick in here with a dang on McDonald's fries on this thing, on this platter, like it's something special.
exotic flavors of whatever the hell has been dredged up from, well, pretty much anywhere. The sea urchin is a spiky creature that lives deep beneath the sea, and upon first glance, it's probably not
Ew.
the kind of thing that would make you hungry.
Who would
but
think to eat this mess?
over the past few years, the sea urchin has become a much
Ew,
loved
this man eating the guts out of the sea urchin. Like, who the... Ew, folks are weird, man. Man, there's some folks that would try literally every animal. It's like, oh, wait, is he gonna kill me? Well, I guess I gotta try and find out.
staple of chefs' menus worldwide, finding its way into pasta sauces,
$5. You get them right over there.
Chinese food, and even into Gordon Ramsay's scrambled eggs. I would imagine that
Ew, he put them urchins in his scrambled eggs. I ain't never eaten Gordon Ramsay's eggs.
few people would want to be eating a bottom feeder with their breakfast eggs, but that may be why I'm a voice actor and not a multi-millionaire celebrity chef. Those that have tasted the sea urchin describe it as creamy, slightly sweet, and tasting like the sea without being fishy.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's an animal. That's amazing that this is an animal. Like, how they grow spikes off of that weird body that got full of little weirdness, gunky in the inside. I like my textured chicken and beef.
That's a unique flavor profile for one bit of seafood. It's fair to say. Still
Ew.
not sure if I want it with my eggs, though, Gordon.
It's hard. It's already hard enough for me to eat eggs because eggs is a slimy texture. I be struggling sometimes to eat scrambled eggs. I need cheese and salt and pepper on it so I can get it down. And usually, if I'm eating some sausage or some bacon, I'm putting it all in my mouth at the same time because egg texture is weird to me. That's how you know I don't play with certain textures. If I struggle to eat scrambled eggs, I don't eat my eggs any other way than scrambled too. All that other stuff, I'm gonna throw it up. It's weird textures, man. I don't see how y'all do that over easy, all that stuff. I know I'm talking a lot, but y'all weird me out, man. I live on a different planet in my mind.
Great. Sashimi. There will probably be a lot of comments from
Ew!
those that
Did that fish just move? All I saw was a head, and it burped.
There will probably be a lot of comments
Oh,
from
heck
those
no.
that genuinely love sashimi and cannot understand
Man, these folks over here eating live Pokemon. That's messed up.
why we've put it on this list. But sorry, it's kind of weird. Delicious, yes, and nutritious, sure. Why not? But weird,
Oh, heck no.
absolutely.
Look.
Anybody with a basic understanding of cooking knows that the official guidelines
If it's still alive, it ain't cooked, dummy.
appointed by the FDA and other global bodies on food advise to never serve or consume raw or uncooked meat of any kind.
Exactly.
We're also told that some raw fish contain mercury
Yes.
and that too much of it can kill us.
Yes. Cook it.
Obviously, nobody listens to the FDA, which is why things like sushi and steak tartare and all other kinds of raw meat dishes are still massively popular around the world. But the risk of potential salmonella or other potential fatal parasitic infection is a
Exactly. Them fish might have parasites, you nasty. All that stuff might have parasites. You need to cook them parasites out. You nasty. I would never, ever, ever.
real big one to overcome when it comes to raw fish. Sushi is an incredibly complex and masterful form of cooking. But it will never not be unusual that so many people are willing to eat raw meat. But at least you'll always have a friend in you. When you get that eventual tapeworm. Number 7. Cassu Marzu. If you have a
Marzu. I've heard of that before.
sensitive stomach, this one is very much not for you. Actually, if you like food at all, this is the time for you to step away and do something else.
Uh-oh. This ain't gonna be good for me. I'm a very particular eater. As you guys can probably tell by now. He might say some stuff that's going to disturb me. Maybe I should pause this video, go eat first, and then come back. Nope, then I might throw up.
Still with us? You're brave. This is the most dangerous cheese in the world. It's
Is
also the most disgusting cheese in the world.
Then why would you make it?
And frankly,
Look at that. Who would eat this? This cheese is alive.
I have no idea why it exists or why it is sold. Cassu Marzu is a highly specific kind of Italian cheese and is considered a rare delicacy. Partially because it's illegal, and partially, well, mostly, because it's deliberately infested with maggots. Yup, originating in the beautiful Italian island of Sardinia. Cassu Marzu is an otherwise ordinary sheep's milk cheese and takes a long time to produce, most likely because it ends up with thousands and thousands of maggots and larvae. Are you feeling sick yet? Why this particular cheese exists, or why anybody would go to such lengths to find, produce, sell, buy, eat, or even go in search of it is anybody's guess.
Do you eat it with the maggots in there, or do you take the maggots out? How do you get them all out, and how do you know if you got them all out?
But I, for one, am pretty revolted by the very idea of it. Maybe it was invented to kill someone. What a way to go. Number 6.
Who the heck did that? I think what happened was somebody made that cheese, right, for the first time, and then they just let it sit, and they're like, oh, the shit got maggots all in it. I wonder if it's still gonna be any good. You know what? Let's just eat it anyway. Not knowing the dangers of the maggots. Folks, man, I swear, folks just, the stuff that they eat and stuff, something gotta be going on up here. It ain't right. They got maggots in the brain.
Insects. Look, we're not here to start critiquing the food culture of our
those
country.
ants, look, if ants get on my food, the food's ruined. These folks out here eating ants like they french fries.
We love everyone equally, and we admire every individual
Look, that's ants and rice. This ants and rice. There are more ants than there is grains of rice.
culture for all that they bring to the world. But this kind of thing would get you shut down and detained in any Western country. So, it is a little weird. While America and other Western
You got the ants running all out the bowl. Y'all need to figure out another way to get the ants to stay in the container so y'all can cook them properly.
countries like to improve the flavor of our street food with condiments like ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, or some kind of questionable mix of all of the above, Cambodia has its own intriguing ingredients.
Wait, maybe that wasn't rice. Maybe that was like the larvae for the ants. I don't know what you call them. The little ant eggs. Oh, my chair is sinking, y'all. Can y'all see me getting lower and lower? This sucks. I blame the jump scare videos. I'm sinking lower and lower. But we'll just stay right here.
No matter where you go in Cambodia, it seems just about every street food vendor offers insects as snacks. Whether it's fried tarantula, crispy grasshopper, or giant water bugs, it seems everything is designed to be as
Giant water bugs. That sounds like a roach.
natural as possible. But while most of us will be pretty repulsed by this, science has shown that these ingredients
Ew! I feel like something crawling on my leg. Look at those. You eat that and the ants.
are actually great for our health.
I bet, but I ain't about to try it.
So, are we the weird ones?
We might be, but I still ain't about to try it. Do I look stupid? I can't imagine putting that in my mouth.
You tell me. For many, the addition of insects to salads and soups transforms an otherwise mundane street food meal into a gourmet restaurant dish. For people like me, I'm okay sitting on my couch.
I can't. Nah, I don't even want to try it. I don't even want to try it. I don't even want to try it. Look, dang. There's a part of me that would almost want to try it just off the sheer thought that what if one day I really needed this? What if one day something happens and I really have to eat like this? It's going to be a lot harder for me to adjust without ever knowing how it tasted. I might allow myself to starve. Yeah, I got stuff to do. I got a bunch of mail I need to read. Let me stop.
With a bag of Cheetos, I think. Number 5. Fruit bat soup. When you're devouring on delicacies out of the ordinary, chances are you'd rather not have to look at what you're actually eating. While insects and exotic animals probably taste delicious, they're not exactly aesthetically
Ew, what's that?
pleasing, are they?
Whoa.
Well, let's just say that's not a lesson chefs in Palau have learned just yet. Easily the most famous dish in one of the world's least famous countries, fruit bat soup is far from the most visually pleasant meal. Served in a large bowl with a flavorful and hopefully delicious soup, the centerpiece of the dish is the whole fruit bat that just kind of stares into your soul as you eat it. It's one of the most unnerving mealtime sights you could ever hope to have in your life. But, as with just about every delicacy in the world, there are some slightly imbalanced people that will go out of their way to taste it for themselves. And
Not me.
apparently, it tastes good? I'm not here to judge. Even if the sight of this dish doesn't necessarily appeal to you, you have to admit that it takes some courage to put an animal corpse on the plate alongside the food. It's like giving someone a steak and also a whole cow to physically watch them eat. Number 4, blood pudding. Here's another food.
I've heard of this before. Blood pudding. The first time I heard of this was in Luck of the Irish. Y'all remember that movie?
Product that comes with a warning for the squeamish.
If you're squeamish, you may want to turn away.
While pretty much every protein is made up of some form of animal meat, this one is a little extra gross. Okay, it's actually a lot grosser. Well, unless you're part
I think the Irish are like really big into this.
vampire and love blood. If that's the case, you're in luck. Blood pudding is a sausage made from, you guessed it, animal blood, and is particularly popular in the United Kingdom, where it's
UK.
a part of the artery clogging meal known as the
artery clogging meal.
full English breakfast. To produce an edible sausage, the blood is mixed with oatmeal and some kind of fat before being pushed into its casing.
Ew, oatmeal and fat and blood, and you just eat it like that? Y'all nasty.
Which is already pretty disgusting. Then, depending on the intended use, the blood sausage is then boiled, fried, or grilled before it's sliced up. It's pretty dang gross, all things considered, but if there's one thing we know about humans, it's that we actually kind of like gross things. Blood sausages are produced all over the world, with regional markets adding their own spice and seasonings to the blood to produce a specific taste. I guess that's the edible difference between type A and type O. Number 3, Eskimo Ice Cream.
Ew.
Yes, we know it sounds adorable when we put it like that, but actually, Eskimo Ice Cream, or Artofkickz as it's known, is a real mishmash of ingredients.
What is that?
Seriously, it almost seems like this food came along and...
See, man, watching this video just reminds me of how serious it is that you gotta ask folks, alright, what's in that? Because some folks would be like, just try it. And then you try it, and then they tell you what it is, then you're repulsed. No, you gonna tell me before I try it. I ain't the one. Do I look stupid? No.
entirely by accident. I imagine it tastes like it too. The indigenous peoples of Alaska developed this delicacy, and they've now been enjoying it for thousands upon thousands of years. Made up of reindeer fat, seal
Already. Reindeer fat?
oil, fresh snow, fresh berries, and the occasional fish, Artofkickz sounds like the complete opposite of what we know to be ice cream, but it's just as popular among these indigenous people. At one point, when hunters would venture out to capture their next meal, they would apparently bring along some Artofkickz as a snack. In fact, they became so talented at producing this miraculous snack that just about anyone could transform this mess of ingredients into a light, foamy delight, and through the use of air whipped into the stuff. Today, Artofkickz is just as popular as it has ever been among Alaska's indigenous population, though it has yet to make it into everyday American supermarkets. There's still time, though. Better get your reindeer fat ready. Number 2, scorpions. If there's one timeless rule of thumb when it comes to food, it's this. Do not eat anything poisonous, or even with a stinger. At least, not until it's all cut off and rendered harmless. But when it
I'm not eating that junk, period. I don't care, stinger or not.
comes to Chinese cuisine, those rules do not apply. In fact, pretty much everything is, quite literally, on the table. Throughout southern China, insects and other unusual
Them fools on the skewer still alive. Heck no.
delicacies are incredibly popular street food options for curious and or gullible tourists to try out. And one of the most popular of those delicacies, the notoriously dangerous scorpion. Human instinct tells us not to even touch these fried morsels of terror. But as Chinese chefs often say to concerned visitors, the heat kills the poison. Apparently, there aren't many locals that actually eat fried scorpion. But there's a great tourist market that loves to try things, and I bet most of those tourists also have YouTube vlogs. Most people that eat scorpion have lived to tell the tale. However, we're still pretty uncertain as to why anybody would willingly volunteer themselves to eat one of the most poisonous animals on the planet. Still, there's one thing we can all agree on. Tourists are beyond gullible. Number 1, Rooster testicles.
Ugh.
Of all the entries
I didn't know roosters had testicles. Well, it makes sense.
on this list, this is probably the least surprising. It seems like no matter where you go on Earth, there will always be someone willing to eat questionable animal genitals. That's a sad fact of life, but it's true. And for some reason, they're always
Ew, look at it. Look at it. It look like a ball. Ew, it look like what I imagine my nut look like.
tourists that want
In the texture, that ain't like chicken. If it ain't like chicken, I don't want it.
to eat them. What are the chances of that? If you are particularly curious about what rooster balls taste like,
I'm not at all.
maybe a trip to Hungary is just what the vet ordered. As Hungary's #1 rooster testicle dish, Cassu Marzu is a stew made up of presumably delicious rooster testicles
Cut into it. I want to see what the inside look like.
and vegetables, alongside dumpling,
Dang, all these roosters have to sacrifice their nuts.
potatoes, or just some good old-fashioned white bread. Thankfully, locals in Hungary are not actually that hungry for rooster testicle stew, leaving it for the curious tourists to enjoy. That is, of course, provided that they don't have a nut allergy. I will take my applause off the air. Thank you. Today, Cassu Marzu is most commonly found at festivals where drunken revelers who have all but given up on ordinary nutrition happily volunteer to try some testicular stew. I
Testicular stew.
think I'll stick
What the testicular is wrong with you? Anyway, I gotta go, y'all. I can't even take no more of this. But y'all know what time it is, though. You like the reaction, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the original will be down in the description box below if you haven't already. Make sure you follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. See ya!